Podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. Today I'll be taking you to the Wine Country Yarn Crawl located in California. See you soon. So we just got here and we are headed to our first stop at Castaway Yarn Shop. So we are now on our way to the Fiber Circle studio and we'll take you right there now. Right now we are getting coffee. I am so tired. The yarn stores wiped me out, but I had so much fun and I can't wait to show you what I picked up at Fiber Circle Studio and I can't remember the other one, and Castaway Yarn Shop. Coffee. Probably never heard of vegetables before. Hello and welcome to the Remedyfibers podcast, a podcast about knitting and crochet hosted by me, Jillian. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you're a returner, thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm going to take you along to the Wine Country Yarn Crawl located in Sonoma County. I was able to visit 2 out of the participating 4 stores and I'll tell you more about it now. So today we got into the car. I tried to take footage, but I was so excited. I was so shocked by how many options that I've never seen in person or online. So Bright took a lot of the footage, so fingers crossed he made some great footage for you all to see. But our first stop was Castaway Yarn Shop. There was a sailboat in there. It was, I think, one of the largest yarn stores that I ever visited. They had so many brands that I've only heard of, seen other podcasters or other designers use, and I was so excited I couldn't even focus. As you entered the store, there were some cookies there, but I definitely took an Oreo, and it was just really fun to see all the samples made up. They had some exclusive colorways just for the store. I actually had a really hard time figuring out what I wanted. The store was organized from really bulky and then you kind of looped your way around to the fingering section. I did see, I believe it's called the Sunday cardigan. That was so beautiful, but I did not get yarn for that. It was really hard to choose. I was so enamored by the hedgehog fibers. They also had some Lang yarn. What else did they have? They had a lot of Madeline Tosh. They had this brand that I never heard of before, and I'm not quite sure if I'm saying it right, but I think it's Tributary Yarns. They had amazing colorways. I really enjoyed my time there. We spent about 30 minutes in the shop and we visited the Fiber Circle studio. I am in love with this store. As soon as I saw the storefront, I said, we are here. And they were so welcoming, so friendly, so kind. They were asking me what I was wearing. Even one of the workers asked me if they can feel my sweater, asked me what I was wearing. If you're wondering, this is the Rocket Tee by Tennis Fiber Arts, I believe. And it's mohair with fingering, and it was just really nice and a very welcoming store. They had Life in the Long Grass hand-dyed yarn from Ireland, and I really like their yarn because they have silk blends. They have pretty much, if you live in a hot climate, Life in the Long Grass has great blends so that we're not overheating in this heat. Right now I believe it's in the high 90s. I hear everyone on the East Coast talking about heat waves, and I'm just like, we've been there for months now. But I know humidity is very different than dry heat. I really enjoyed it. I was having a really hard time deciding what on Ravelry I wanted to make. So before I got to the stores, I put a whole bunch of things in my queue. I put a whole bunch of things in my favorites, just in case if I see a fingering weight yarn, I can see, okay, which sweater needed that. But I didn't really think this process through, and I think I want to try a different method when I do go into yarn shops, because I got overwhelmed with how much skeins a pattern needed versus how much the cost of the yarn was. And I was like, do I really want this much yardage for a sweater that I'm not even quite sure I 100% want to commit to this right now? So I like to shop with a pattern in mind and then having the yarn to complement that. And so it was just really overwhelming. Then I was also looking at a Jessie May top called the Winter Crop, and that uses wool folk. I never worked with it before, but I really want to start venturing into fall, winter, even though I don't really have much of a fall, but once it starts getting chilly at night type of garments. And I was shocked at their price tag too. So I said, okay, I want something that's affordable, reasonable. I want to buy something from one store, buy something from another store without blowing my budget out of the water. So I just continued to struggle, but I really enjoyed going to Fiber Circle Studio because they were asking me, do you need any help? Like, let us know if you have any questions. And because I was so overwhelmed, so excited, so anxious, and going crazy with the yarn, Bright, my husband, was like, yeah, she's actually wants to make a cardigan. So they brought me to the sample section and they showed me the, what was it? It was the Felix cardigan, and I want to say the other one was the Wave of Change jacket. So they had the Wave of Change jacket in this navy blue color, and I tried it on and lost my mind. It looks so good. The little description in the pattern is the jacket gets its name from the pearl ridges, and it also references the last year of change within the fiber community. Also about size inclusivity, making a lasting wave of change in the maker community, the fashion industry, and in the world. And to try it on and in that color, I'm buying that yarn. Once I make the things that I'm going to make, I am buying that yarn. And then I also showed the owner I wanted to make the Felix cardigan, which was recommended by one of you fabulous viewers. And they actually had a great pairing of yarn for the sweater and a sample made in this yarn that I'm about to show you. And so the cardigan, I tried it on. Beautiful, beautiful. I loved it so much. I wish I took a picture in it so you can see it, but I guess I'll just make it and then you can see it then. But so gorgeous. I bought it in this beautiful color I'm about to show you right now. So definitely check them out on Instagram. They also have a online shops that you can purchase from, and they just had amazing, beautiful yarns. They also had a lot of heat appropriate climate type of yarns, so cotton, silk, all of those beautiful heat resistant, so you could keep knitting in these hot days. On to what I bought, and then I'll show you what I finished and what I'm currently working on. So the first store, the Castaway Yarn Shop, I only bought one skein, but I got tributary or tributary yarns. And this is River Silk with Merino. It's fingering weight, hand dyed, 70% wool and 30% silk. There is 430 yards in this skein, and it's the colorway Lupine. And this is the beautiful color. So it's kind of like a grayish purple. Bright told me to go out of my comfort zone and stop getting purple. He's like, you don't want to be that girl that's only known as making purple things. Like, you want different colors to accentuate your wardrobe. And I'm like, yes, I know. But I was really gravitated towards this skein. Actually, I wasn't really gravitated toward any skein because I was so overwhelmed by the beauty and how the amounts of yarn that there was. I've never seen that much in my life. Most yarn stores are like little, or you do a little loop and then do another little loop. This one was massive. It felt like I was in Joann's, but the bougie version. So this one, I am going to make the Ripple Halter by Jessie May. Yes, I decided I want to do that one after watching We Grow Wild. And I just think this would be a nice purplish neutral to wear to work on the weekend. And it's giving me grayish. I was like, this one looks like the top I'm wearing right now. But I'm so happy with this one and I can't wait. I just want to start already, but I'm going to work on the projects I've already been working on, what's on my queue. I like to use Ravelry's queue to kind of keep me on track. Like, don't forget you wanted to make the frog, don't forget you wanted to make this, so that I'm not jumping ahead and forgetting about the yarn that I bought 2 weeks ago in North Carolina. But okay, I'm not gonna go buying more yarn because there aren't yarn crawls happening every day. I'm not going to North Carolina every month. So I'm looking forward to the Golden State Yarn Crawl. That one is all the participating stores in San Francisco. I don't think they posted a date the last time I checked. So hopefully that one could be like towards the end of the year, so I have time to create all the things and then go shopping. So at Fiber Circle Studio, I really want to make the Felix cardigan. I really want to make a cardigan because I wear those all the time. This is a crochet cardigan, no pattern. I just made a whole bunch of granny squares and then sewed them all up to make sure that they fit my body. And I wear it every single day when the AC is on because it is thick and too hot to wear outside. But I love a cardigan. I love to take it on, take it off. I have made tees, I have made pullovers, and I've never made a cardigan, so I really want to venture into the button game. I really want to put a button and close a sweater. So cute. So for the Felix cardigan, I got Sincere Sheep. This is handmade in the Napa Valley. I didn't even know that. I don't even think I looked at it. She said, this is the one I used to make, and I said, give me that one. It says Terrier Fiber Series, hand-dyed fibers and yarns using the finest natural dyes. And this one is Aaron Waite's. I believe they got it from Nebo Rock Ranch in Covilla, California, and Alpaca of Marin, Nicasio, California. So it's 85% merino wool, 15% alpaca, and there's 200 skeins, 200 yards in each skein. So yes, it's still in the purple colorway-ish, but it is burgundy, and these are gonna be my fall colors. This, like, I'm gravitating towards darker colors as my brain goes into cold. I hope it gets colder. Actually, who am I kidding? It didn't get cold till like December. So I can't wait to make this. It looked so cute when I tried on the sample, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So that was all for my yarn crawl haul experience. I didn't get to visit Heidi's yarn shop, and I can't remember the fourth yarn shop because they were very far from the other two. So these two were only 20 minutes apart, and then the other closest one was 40 minutes from that. And it took about an hour and a half to get there, an hour and a half to come back home. We did have enough time to stop and get some food. There was a Chinese restaurant on the same block of Fiber Circle Studio. If you're ever in that area or you're from Petaluma, highly recommend. 10 out of 10, loved it. And it was such a cute town. They had a toy store, they had a game store, they had so much thrift and vintage type stores. I didn't get to look into them because we were on a time crunch. I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to get back home and spend some time with Benny. He was crying when we got back home because he was so excited to see us. But I will show you my finished object as well as what I'm working on. So I finished my Boardwalk Blouse by Poison Girls. You can find her on her website, poisongirls.com. or you can find project page her project page of people who completed this on Ravelry, but her patterns are not posted on Ravelry. You have to go to her website and pay through PayHip if you're interested. She is doing a knit along right now for a new tee that she designed. But this is how it came out. I'm so in love. As you know, I was confused most of the time while making this pattern, but now that I've completed it, I think I know where I went wrong. So after looking at everyone's finished object, I realized I was supposed to purl with the white. But when I read the pattern instructions, I thought that was wrong, because I said, I don't remember seeing purl, but it's supposed to have that 3D pearl texture. But I love how it came out. I would definitely recommend this one. Definitely do it again. I love the shaping. This is the most fitted garment that I have. It looks so good. The only downside is it's really hard to find something to match with this other than jeans. I tried to look for like a skirt or a dress option, and these colors are just not that fluid with lots of different colors. So I tried to see what goes with purple, and it said yellow, orange, and green, which was not something I would think goes with this. So I just been wearing it with leggings, black leggings. I'll insert a picture of how it looks. So the yarn that I used was Kobasi Haiku DK, and it is 55% cotton. Even though it's cotton, it's extremely soft. It also is 16% bamboo, 8% silk, and 20% elastic nylon. So if you get this yarn, this is the yarn that the designer recommended. It is very stretchy. It's not like regular cotton. And she says if you're going to use any type of different cotton than the one she recommends, that to make sure it has elastic in it, because it has a lot of stretch, and that's how she designed the pattern, so that you have that wiggle room. But I love how it looks. I really love the ribbing on the end. It just makes me look like a vintage queen, and I'm here for it. My last finished object, which is still kind of a work in progress, I finished it this morning, but I decided to heavily modify it. So this is the My Boy Lollipop by Nancy Ritchie. I use the terrapin fiber, 100% cotton. This is one of a kind. I got it on the one of a kind sale. I did have to alternate skeins, and I'm happy with how it came out, but it was really challenging to continue to alternate skeins every couple of rows, and I was mixing the balls everywhere. This is how much I have left of it, so I still have quite a bit. But I heavily modified this pattern. Let me get all of these things out the way. Actually, I'll show you this side. So I added 12 more rows to the sleeve. So it is a longer sleeve. And you can see here, I also show you, insert a picture in case you can't see the bottom of it. But I decided to do the shaping, and then instead of changing to the rib, I decided to try it on. There was enough positive ease, so I just knit straight down and I continued to try it on. I think I tried it on about 3 to 5 times in the process of making this to make sure it was the length that I wanted it. And then I did a 2x2 rib at the hem. The hem, I don't believe calls for this, or maybe it does. And then it fits really cute, but I had an idea to add 2 straps. So you can see this one I'm working on, and this one has the stitch marker, and I want to add straps to kind of be, if it's like a sleeveless, let's say this is the top, if it's like a off the shoulder, then the sleeve will provide it some support. Because this pattern, the neckline, I know that Naturally Creating Judy, she sent me a video on how I can crochet the neckline to be a little more cinched in, but I'm not quite sure if I want it to lay on top of my shoulder or if I want it to be off the shoulder and then have this cute little sleeve to give me support and from it from dropping down. And once it's long enough, I will connect it to the back so it could kind of have that strap. So I'm just experimenting, practicing. I've made the My Boy Lollipop. This is my 4th time making it. The first 3 times I knit to pattern. Actually, the first 2 times I knit to pattern. The 3rd time I started ribbing much earlier, and I also ribbed for longer than what the pattern said to. So I'm just exploring modifying some patterns to my preference, to what I like. And because this is cotton, I still want to wear it in the summertime. I did think about making it longer sleeved, or maybe up to my elbow because I do have more yarn, but I didn't want to risk running out of yarn because I don't have that much. So we'll see how it goes. In the next episode, I will show you how it looks completed. But that is all that I have for works in progress. If you haven't noticed, I do like to work on projects one at a time. At most, maybe two, maybe working on a cast on and then finishing one right up. So I don't like to get overwhelmed or forget where I'm at in a pattern. So I like to be a one project type of girl. So after I work on this, I'm thinking of doing something of a smaller instant gratification type of project. I still have the frog on my queue. I still have the ripple bralette on my queue. But I really want to cast these on, but at least they will get me excited to finish what I currently have and then work on them some more. I really enjoyed myself at the Yarn Crow. I hope that you enjoyed all the content, exploring it with me, as well as the fiber that I picked up. Let me know what you think about the newly acquired purchases, as well as any questions that you have for me below in the comments. As for some life adventures, about 2 weeks ago, me and my family were able to visit Lake Tahoe for the very first time. We actually got to take Benny along with us. I know that Rochelle asked the last video, but if you're interested, Benny does have an Instagram. I'm not up to date with it as much as I used to. Before, I used to post like 3 times a day because he's so cute. But if you want to check him out, his Instagram is @thedogBennyBlanco. Bright named him. Benny's named after a mafia mobster guy, but you can check out his Instagram. I post every once in a while. But he was able to come with us. We stayed at a hotel that was dog friendly. There were so many dogs. He got so many sniffs. We got to hike. We got to go to the little beach that they had there. We attempted to kayak. One of my coworkers lent us her inflatable kayaks, but the water was ice cold. So we decided to skip out on the kayaking. But it was really nice to kind of have a mini getaway right before school training and work goes into full blast. While we were trying to hike, we were walking up a path and we hear a scream. And mind you, I really wanted to go early to beat the crowds, even though I didn't even know if there were crowds. And I said, wow, it's really empty. And that's when we heard the scream. And then maybe 5 minutes after that, some guy was saying, are you guys heading up that way? And we're like, yeah. He's like, well, there's a bear right around the corner. So we're like, oh, okay, thank you. So I just happened to turn around after he said that. I saw him start running. And I'm like, Bright, he's running. Should we run? And he's like, yeah, run. Give me your book bag. And then the water bottle started flying everywhere. We later learned if we were to have seen a bear to not run, as well as the bears in Lake Tahoe are not looking to hunt people. They're looking for honey and bugs and small things to eat. So we learned the hard way, but it was very scary. We planned our day around this hike, so we were like, should we leave? So we ended up going a different way. We hiked for a little bit, but then we were so scared and on edge, so we left. We came back and brought Benny. There were a lot more people at that time, and we were much more happier. There were people to follow. Much better experience not going at 8 a.m. But it was so cool to be there. Where South Lake Tahoe is, they share literally a state border between Nevada. So once you cross the street, there's casinos. There were Bally's, Harrah's, all of these casinos. I don't like to gamble, but Bright, I was about to say Benny, Bright likes blackjack, so he got to experience that, and I was just there cheering him on. But I would definitely like to go back. The difference between West Coast water and East Coast water is West Coast water is ice cold. Even in this heat, ice cold. I love to be in the water. You can't get me out the water. Even though I don't know how to swim, I just sit there and pretend I'm a mermaid. I love it so much. But East Coast water is so warm and amazing and relaxing. This one over here is ice cold. So I got in once and then I had to sit out because I couldn't take it. I tried to get comfortable with it. You know how your body acclimates to the cold. I couldn't get used to it. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you really enjoyed coming along with me on today's yarn crawl. Let me know what you think about the yarn that I purchased, and I hope that you and your family are healthy, happy, and safe, and I hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye.